See your name, it's in our hearts. So we ready, fighting from the start. We will shape that future, making you that teacher. So if you dream big, all of the courses we run it. LKU, you know, we got it. We own it and we're proud of it. So in our heart, it's your name. What me the name? You it up, what me the name, boy?
Okay, time for a radio lecture right here on Radio Windy Bay. Mopo Charles, a taxi driver, nas Jumo campus, nas I projector was this and then as the would you what taxi Mopo Chawara, I hypers department 1 year, or hypers department 1 year. And there, your sister Gifty Sir, Uja to taxi at about 5 p.m. in Yumburin, or for taxing on North Campus in Mopo Chow. Security since one Shamahin around 5:30 p.m. and taxi sir, what when you are one Shamahin na Yinhu Morocco. Another taxi driver saying one able to my friend them telephone number see I 020-352-3787 020-352-3787 na Mozaba and I'm to me security na security that bring or Radio Windy Bay and I call this number Samaza to Gwesis here and name Babaji. Alright, so we're moving on to straight to one of our flagship programs on campus, Radio Lecture, right here on Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM today. For those of you taking the course EDC 351 Introduction to Guidance and Counseling in Education level 300, we already have N-YELBI, John N-YELBI already seated in the studio who will be taking you through today's radio lecture. The topic is concept, guidance and counseling, definitional issues and difference and similarities. So we'll be going to the other side of the studio and then hand over the baton to Sir John N-YELBI, and he will take us through. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hope all is well.
Yes, please, by His grace.
Wonderful. Well, take us through then.
Thank you very much for the warm reception and the cordial relationship we have established over the years. This evening, we are privileged to start with radio lecture series on the course code EDC 351. Introduction to Guidance and Counseling in Education is meant for level 300 students. Those who did it last semester could testify that it was very insightful and our engagement was very fruitful. For those who are doing this semester, I am particularly aware that Physics Department, Biology, Chemistry, Integrated Science, and then that of Social Studies, they did it last semester. But this semester, I'm also aware that Art Education and then Texas and Function, you are also doing it. So all students who are doing it, I want to encourage you to tune in and listen to us. So when the time is up, the phone lines will be activated where you are going to phone in and contribute actively to the discussion. So today we want to kickstart the program as we look at definitional issues of the concepts, guidance and counseling. Then we'll zoom to look at the differences between the concepts and similarities as well. And that will bring us to the end of the lecture series for today. So in terms of guidance and counseling, we want to look at what is meant by guidance. The word guidance is a process of helping an individual to understand himself and the world. Understanding yourself simply means that you understand yourself in terms of the abilities, capabilities, interests, where you see yourself to be unique as compared to others. So you know your like and dislikes, you know what your interest is, what your capabilities are. All these ones define you to know yourself. And knowing yourself simply also means that you are going to relate well with the environment where you find yourself. And the world in which you live simply relate to people around you, the resources available that can help you understand who you are and what you can do to achieve your maximum function as a human being. So in terms of being a student, the environment simply refers to your roommates, your dormitory mates, your hall mates, the course mates that you are learning the same course with, your departmental mates and faculty members and administrators, all those who have a role to play in the university and make sure that your stay here is successful. They form part of your immediate environment. So understanding yourself simply means you understand yourself in knowing who you are, what you like and what you don't like, likewise those that you live with, so that you'll be able to have harmonious coexistence. That's what we mean by knowing yourself. Now, in terms of getting to know guidance better, we will define it simply as the process of dynamic interpersonal relationship intended to influence the attitude and subsequent behavior of learners. And our learners here refer to our students. So getting to know your dynamic interpersonal relationship that intended to influence your behavior or attitude and subsequent behavior of other people refers simply to as what? Guidance. There are several definitions that are put forward in terms of looking at what a concept is. We wouldn't want to water you so much, so the two, I believe, will be able to help you understand what you want to do for this evening. So guidance also refers to a comprehensive term used to refer to all the helping services provided by the counselor to the individual in need of direction, as instruction or information to enable him or he take a decision regarding his or her direction in life. At every point in time, all of us have been confronted with challenges where we have to make a decision in one way or the other. There are choices that are presented to us, and we are asked to make a decisive one, informed choice. And most of the time, we find it difficult to be able to decide which of the choices are going to be best for us. That is where we fall on the counselor to help us decide, looking at our strengths, weaknesses, and abilities and capabilities. So that when we get to understand ourselves better, it will ease us in making the decisive choice that we want to really make in life. We are also saying that there are some key elements when we look at the definition. First of all, we're talking about guidance to be a process. A process simply here refers to the fact that it is not a single event, but it involves a series of events or actions or activities that are intended to achieve an outcome, and that outcome is a desired one in your life. The next one we want to look at is helping. Guidance is a helping profession. It is aimed at aiding people, assisting people, or availing yourself to people who may be in need of your help. The definition also talks about another important concept known as individual. The individual here refers to the student who is a learner in a given context, where we can refer to you as a counselee, a clientele, or a client. We want to also look at the elements that involve the term self-understanding. Understanding yourself simply means that we are able to clearly understand who we are in terms of what we are gifted with as strengths, weaknesses, as well as the prospects and opportunities, facilities around us, and resources that are available for our growth and advancement. So, ourselves by perceiving the environment to know what resources are available, by knowing how your weaknesses and your strengths are, and knowing with the facilities and opportunities available for your personal growth and advancement. This makes you understand yourself as a unique individual. The world in which we find ourselves, we are looking at the fact that the world here refers to opportunities and resources within one's immediate environment, your town or your country, your institution, where the individual can tap in for growth, where the individual can thrive in for what? Maximum development. Now, the second concept is counseling. And counseling is a bit different from guidance from the following point of view. We are saying that counseling is a process in which a counselor assists a counselee, a clientele, or a client to make interpretations of facts relating to choice or adjustment. We can also say that counseling refers to a one-on-one helping profession which focuses upon the individual's growth and achievement and problem solving and decision making needs. So the individual here refers to the student, the client, the clientele who has a problem and is finding it difficult to decide what to do. So the person walks in to see a counselor who is a professional. It's a professional relationship between a counselor and a client, because the professional make it a profession because the counselor is trained in that particular aspect. So when the two meet, the counselor will not choose the decision for the client, but the counselor will try to make the client to be aware of the most important aspect of your life that you are not aware of. It is like you are wearing a mask, so you don't see yourself clearly. So the counselor will help you remove that mask, and you will see the pros and cons of all the decisions available to you. the very options that you have, you can now decide to make a decisive decision, knowing very well how beneficial it will be. Remember, when the decision is good, the credit goes to you, the client who has made your choice. If the decision is not good for you too, you cannot blame the counselor because he didn't choose for you. So that is one unique qualities of counseling. We don't decide for our client, but we help them to be able to decide based on their strengths, weaknesses, and interests and abilities. So when you decide, it means that you are fully aware of the consequences of the choices that you have made. We are also saying that there are some key issues we want to look at in the definition of what counseling. First of all, we are talking about it to be a professional service offered by a professional and competent individual who is knowledgeable in that field of what practice. So we are saying that it's a professional because the counselor is trained in that particular field, and it's something that he or she has an expert view, experiences, and a wealth of what knowledge, and then wealth of intellectual abilities that will help him or her decide and help the client to be able to come out with the best decisions that are needed for him or her to grow in life. We are also saying that it is an interaction where interaction is seen to be between a client, between a counselee or a clientele and a counselor who is ready to offer assistance. Then it's concerned with choice or decision making. In counseling, decision making or choice making is very paramount. And in choosing, we don't force our ideas on you. We allow you to make an independent and a freedom of expression or wish, where you will see how the decision is affecting you, but not the fact that somebody has actually caused you or forced you to pick that decision. Counseling also borders on problem solving or solving problems. It borders on solving problems because at one point in time we have all been confronted with problems of life, and it is our duty to make sure that we solve the problems as we move ahead with life. If not so, the problems will weigh us down and we cannot progress. Counseling is also concerned with behavior modification or behavior change. If you are aware of things and the way they are happening in your life, once you come for counseling and you are exposed to the realities about how things are affecting you, I think you need to turn a new leaf by turning away from your old ways of life, and you will now live a new life. That would mean that you have modified your behavior. You have modified the way you were doing things. That shows that you understand yourself better now. We're also saying that counseling thrives on confidentiality. In counseling, confidentiality is key. That is the hallmark on which counseling operates, which means that in counseling, the counselor has no right to disclose what the client has narrated to him or her. Likewise, the client has no right to narrate whatever has been happening between him and the counselor to any third party. But then there are limits of confidentiality which we always want our clients to be aware. And in counseling, these limits are clearly stated, where we want to quickly look at some of the limits of confidentiality. First of all, if what the client is saying involves him doing himself or herself harm, let's assume that you say you want to kill yourself after the session. The counselor needs to protect life, so you need to confine in the security agency to safeguard your life. If the discussion also involves that you are going to harm an aged or a minor is somebody less than 18 years. So if your conversation reveals that you intend to harm a minor, the counselor needs to protect life, and that will be something that confidentiality needs to be broken. If what the counselor also narrates is something that has to be done with criminal activities, then the court will subpoena that whatever discussion that happened between the counselor and the client should be made public. In that case, the counselor has no option than to disclose that. But before that, the counselor will have to seek your consent, and you need to be duly informed before confidentiality is broken. Besides these limits that I've mentioned, there are other ones, but because it is introductory, I wouldn't want to go into details. If there's nothing that borders on security or maybe harm to property or life, the counselor and yourself need to keep issues as confidential as possible so that the integrity of the session can be protected. Counseling is also seen to be the heart of the work of guidance. There are so many guidance services, and counseling service is one of the services. And we are saying that it refers to as a heart because this is where feelings are deposited. This is where our emotions are found. So counseling is seen to be the heart because it is the engine. It is a pivot around which all the other guidance services revolve. So counseling is seen to be one of the most important services in terms of guidance service. That is why we see it to be the heart. In terms of how the human being is, the heart is where the heartbeat is, and that is where the human being is able to see themselves to be a living being. When your heart ceases to pump blood to other essential parts of the organs, then you see it to be a human being. So counseling is also seen as such, where the counseling service is the heart of all the guidance services, and it is seen as one of the most important services that we need to be aware of. It is a wheel on which the other guidance services can easily revolve. Let's look at purpose of guidance and counseling. What is the essence of this particular course? Purpose of guidance and counseling entails helping an individual discover and develop their educational, vocational, and psychological potentials, and helping them to achieve an optimal level of personal happiness and social usefulness. So when an individual to be able to function in society where you become self-reliant, you become a personal person who can function optimally, you are going to receive social usefulness, and you are also going to see yourself being happy because that is the only way you can achieve your educational ambitions, vocational aspirations, and psychological potentials. So once you achieve all this, you will tend to be a happy person, you tend to be a self-reliant person, and you tend to be an optimal person where your society will see you to be useful. There are some objectives of guidance. Let's quickly look at some of them. One of them is to assist learners to become self-directing individuals. Some people in life cannot take decisions on their own. They have to rely on people every now and then for them to decide on issues regarding their life. So guidance will equip you with all the potentials you need, all the values you need, and all the skills and potentials so that you can actually look at yourself and be able to decide on issues that bothers your life and the way to go about deciding on what you want to do than relying on people. The next objective is to provide learners with opportunity for growth and development. All our learners can grow in their line of action, their line of movement, and it's our duty to help them to be able to understand in which way you can grow, looking at your strengths and how best you can grow in that direction to achieve what you were actually created to achieve. We are also looking at one of the objectives of guidance to be preparing the learners, which is the students, to make decisions to face new challenges in life. People dodge responsibilities, they are not ready to face challenges when they come. As a human being, you need to really get yourself well embraced so that when challenges come your way, you don't dodge the challenges, but you face them head on and solve them as required of you. That makes you a responsible person, and people can really benefit so much from you when you can decide on your own and face challenges as they come. But people do not want to face challenges, they only want to see life to be rosy. But life cannot be rosy because it is a problem-solving enterprise, and every day different problems come and they require different solutions that we need to make. We also want to see another objectives of guidance to be motivating the youth towards embracing the challenges of their complex environment. The environment where we live is a very complex one, and human beings, as we encounter the environment, at one point in time we find the challenges to be enormous, and if not the resources that we are equipped with, we find it difficult to be able to navigate the challenges and progress with life. But with the help of guidance, we are able to navigate the challenges easily in a very complex and evolving environment where we find ourselves, especially in a school setup like ours, where there are a lot of activities that we are encountered with our students. You are supposed to go for lecture, you are supposed to do assignment, write quizzes, and also do presentations. All these ones will pile up as stresses that if you don't navigate very well, they can easily cause your downfall in terms of how you perform in academics. So we want to see how do we navigate these challenges and be able to still become useful people and people who can perform academically as expected of us. We also want to see one of the objectives of guidance to be to create awareness of oneself. And as I said earlier on, knowing yourself means that you discover your strengths, your weaknesses, and your challenges as a human being. So by knowing you who you are, you'll be able to create better awareness of yourself, so that once you understand yourself, you will not make mistakes about your own life, because it involves you and others. So once you understand yourself, you will also understand other people and you can relate well with them. Objectives of guidance can continue from this perspective, where we will look at guidance to be making learners to come to a realization that the wisdom of placing one responsibility before making prudent decision is very much important. Before you take a decision, you have to look at yourself as somebody who is endowed with wisdom, who is endowed with knowledge, who is endowed with potentials, and based on that, you can capitalize on your personality to be able to make decisive decisions regarding your own life. Another objectives of guidance can be helping learners to be able to move towards a better and satisfying life. We want to help our learners to be able to move towards a better and satisfying life in the community where they find yourself, in the society where you find yourself. You realize that the community and society where you find yourself will present you with so many challenges and opportunities for you to decide. And nobody wants to see problems or challenges of life. We all want to see life to be in a very positive direction that we want. So we can encourage you to become a better and satisfying individual, having known who you are, so that deciding on issues that affect your life will be things that you can reckon with. Building in the youth the confidence to assume responsibilities or leadership role. The youth of today, most of them are not ready to assume responsibility. When you talk about leadership, they always point fingers at others. They are not able. They will see themselves to be people who are not capable. So we want to build the self-confidence in you, so that when you have the opportunity to be able to choose leadership, you appoint yourself first, and you should be willing to volunteer to serve the society where you find yourself. So in the university sector, we have departmental associations, we have SRC elections, we have GRASAC, we have NOOCs. All these ones are positions that people can hold, but students are dodging responsibilities, and that's the only way you can build a very good CV, because you have been a leader in an institution of higher learning. We also want to guide the youth to be able to critically analyze available information and options given to them, so that they can choose the best one according to their aptitude, according to their interests, according to their capabilities. So when you are given an information, don't take the information hook, line, and sinker, but try to do critical analysis. And by so doing, you'll be able to come up with the best decision that will affect your life, not negatively, but in a positive direction. We want to look at similarities between the two concepts, guidance and counseling. In terms of the similarities, we want to look at it from this angle. Guidance and counseling, they are all seen to be processes. Both guidance and counseling are conceived to be processes, which will mean that they are continuous in nature, and they are not single events or single activities, but they are series of actions that are intended to achieve a desired outcome. The next similarity between the two concepts are that want to see the two to be helping services. Both guidance and counseling are helping services aimed at helping the individual. So whilst guidance is helping, counseling is also helping, and the ultimate aim is the individual is at the center of this helping, where we want to see the individual to be the one who is benefiting from these helping services. The third similarity between the two concepts, guidance and counseling, is that both of them require people who are knowledgeable, people who are experienced. For instance, counselors, teachers, pastors, reverend ministers, and guidance and counsel coordinators, they are all people who are experienced in their respective fields of learning, and they are people who are knowledgeable, and they are people who are very much experienced in whatever they are doing. Another similarity between the two concepts, guidance and counseling, is that clients are free to make their own decisions or choice, which will mean that decision making here is not something that somebody can force you, but out of your own volition, you are encouraged to make a choice which is free and that is why you are supposed to be responsible for your choice, because nobody has forced you to come out with that decision. You need to be responsible for whatever choice you are making as an individual. We are live on Radio Windy Bay, and today we are talking on the course code EDC 351, course title Introduction to Guidance and Counseling in Education, meant for level 300 students. Some did it last semester, others are doing this second semester. So I will encourage all our students to log in and listen. At the right time, the phone lines will be activated, and you'll be allowed to call in, send your messages, and then contribute to the discussion based on issues that may require further explanation. Or if you want to contribute to the discussion, your decisions are going to be welcome at the right time. So let's listen as we interact, so that at the end of it all is going to be things that will help us, because some of these concepts are explained in our lecture halls, and some lecturers cannot even get opportunity to explain all these things to us as we are doing here. That is why the opportunity is given to us. So as we listen to the radio lecture, we will add up to what we were taught in class, and that will help us understand the concepts better. We want to continue with the similarities between guidance and counseling. We are saying that the two concepts, guidance and counseling, are goal-oriented. They are all goal-oriented, which means that they have specific goals that are supposed to be achieved at the end of the sessions. Now, the next one is that both guidance and counseling aim at growth and development, independent thinking, and self-reliance to attain the maximum benefit. All the two concepts are helping us to be able to grow to our maximum level of growth, and to be able to think decisively, to become self-reliant, and to become an independent thinkers. So we don't depend on other people to be able to make decisions and decide for our lives. We are also saying that both guidance and counseling, decision making is paramount. And in both guidance and counseling, the individual is at the center of whatever is going to happen. The individual here refers to the student, who can be the client, the clientele, or the counselee. So you are the center, and this decision making rely on you. You have to take the onerous responsibility to be able to decide at every point in time what affects your life, because it's the one who has a problem ultimately has a solution. Some only need listening ear, and they are able to make decisions that are best for their life. They all make use of qualified personnel. Both guidance and counseling make good use of personnel who are more qualified, who are more experienced, who are more knowledgeable in their field of practice. So this is what we want to talk about in terms of the similarities. We want to add another similarity by saying that all the two concepts are geared towards positive change in the individual. All the two concepts are geared towards positive change in the individual. Positive change will mean that you need to make modification to your life, where you see life not to be the best as regards to the decision you have made. You can go back to the drawing board and make adjustment where you can modify some aspect of your life to reflect the positivity that you intend to get. Both concepts also endorse clients' own choice and satisfaction. So your choice is paramount, and you must be satisfied with the choice you are making. That is why you are given the free will, the freedom to be able to choose. And once you are chosen, it means that decision is what you think is best for your life. And both the two concepts also employ non-compulsion on clients. In terms of both concept, guidance and counseling, we are looking at the fact that free will is very important. We don't force anything on you. So if you look at one of the principles of guidance, we say that guidance operates on freedom of choice and not compulsion or not coercion. We don't force you. It's free will that we allow you to freely choose your decision based on having analyzed who you are and what you understand yourself to be. The two concepts also take place over a period of time. It doesn't take place only once, but both guidance and counseling will take place over a series of actions and number of times that will elicit the desired results that we are looking for. So they all take place over a period of time. That is why they are called processes, and they are continuous in nature. We want to look at differences that exist between the two concepts. Guidance and counseling cannot seem to be the same, because In terms of guidance, guidance is seen to be more cognitive, which relates to facts, methods, and principles, while counseling is seen to be affective, where it deals with feelings of an individual. So you can remember that we said counseling was the heart of the work of guidance. So we're talking about feelings here, which means that counseling deals with the affective domain, while guidance deals with the cognitive domain. Guidance is less personal and less intimate, while counseling is more personal and more intimate. In terms of the structure, guidance is seen to be more structured, but counseling is seen to be less structured. In terms of the structure, we are looking at the fact that guidance, let's assume that we have career guidance, where a lot of people are going to be guided, and then the resource person is going to be invited to give a talk on some career opportunities or some career that are available for the individual to choose. Once the resource person comes, there's going to be introduction of chairperson's response, opening prayer. All these ones are structured, and there's going to be vote of tongue, there's going to be chairperson's response and remarks, and then closing prayer. All these ones are structured, where you need to follow from the beginning to the end. In terms of counseling, the counselee is the one who directs the session. So the mood in which the counselee comes directs how it should be seen to be counseling, not the way the counselor wants to structure counseling. For instance, if the client comes to the counseling session sobbing, weeping, and then wailing, the counselor is not supposed to establish rapport again, because at the point in time the client is in crisis. So you need to give the opportunity for the client to be able to pour out the heart and narrate the story the way it has affected him or her. So in this case, we will not follow all the due processes, like going to register, to ask you of your name, to ask of your age, your level, where you stay, and your siblings, your position in your family, and all those ones. We will not be able to take those protocols because you are in crisis. And they will treat the issue the way you have come. So when you come and you are wailing, and when you come and then you are crying, the counselor only needs to make the environment or the interaction very conducive for you. Assuming you want to wail on the ground, you want to roll, the counselor needs to clear the place and allow you to freely roll, to cry, and then to narrate your story the way it affects you. So if you come in as a client and you come in without any crisis situation, and you come in for normal counseling, the counselor is supposed to welcome you and establish what you call rapport building. So when the counselor establishes rapport, then the counselor will assure confidentiality, where you are given a chance to freely talk, and then no person will send your story out to the third party. So the counselor will not be able to direct how the counseling session will be. It all depends upon the mood in which the counselee availing himself or herself for counseling. That is why it is less structured. So we are also saying that guidance is less open-ended, but counseling is more open-ended. Guidance is less open-ended because many people are going to be attended to at one point in time. So it will be very difficult for the guidance coordinator or the resource person to be able to catch glimpse of all those who are present and what might be their worries. For instance, when we're talking about lecture period, well, there's only one lecture and there are many learners or students. So the lecture is going to be an interactive one, but the lecturer, no matter how vigilant you are or how sensitive you are, you cannot catch the eyes of everybody and begin to see what their concerns may be, or to let them ask questions for clarification or contribute to a class discussion. It is not going to be something that can happen that way, because no matter what you do, there will be individuals who feel that they have not been given the due respect or due recognition because of the numbers. But in counseling, once it is always an interaction between the counselor and then the client, the counselor will not talk much. The counselee is given the opportunity to talk much and tell the story. And telling the story, telling your issues, and narrating whatever affects you, they are all healing therapies. But remember, we can have group counseling, but group counseling will involve more than 2 clients to 1 counselor, but the number should not exceed 12. In as much as we try to say group counseling can be done to cater for this number of people, every individual is given opportunity to talk and to share his or her views about the issues and the discussion. You cannot go to group counseling and you are going to be quiet. It will not help the group to grow. You have to be able to avail yourself and be ready to work in the group. Be ready to tell your story and help others to be able to learn from you. So we are saying that guidance is less open, but counseling is more open because the numbers of people involved are not so much. We are also saying that guidance is public, but counseling is private and confidential. Guidance is public because we don't hide anything in guidance, like in the career exploration that we talk about. If a resource person is invited, what a person is going to say is in the open space where everybody can sit and listen and be able to contribute to the discussion. That thing is hidden. In terms of even attending a lecture, it's an open discussion where anybody from anywhere can listen to the discussion. But in counseling, we say it is private and confidential because it is mostly done in an enclosed room, enclosed space, where people walking around will not see those who are in the room. It is between the counselor and then the client, who are supposed to be in the room to listen to one another, while the counselor listens attentively, pay much attention to whatever the client is telling, whatever the client is narrating. This makes counseling to be more private. Confidentiality, as we said from the introductory remark, it is something that we actually cherish so much as practitioners because it is a hallmark on which every effective counseling thrives. We don't expose the issues of our client to third parties because it will breach that trust that our clients has in us, and the confidence they have in us will not be there again. So we try to, as much as possible as professionals, to maintain the confidentiality that is expected of us in our practice. I'm also saying that in terms of another differences, guidance is seen to be more didactic and informative. It seems to be more didactic and information because information can be given in guidance. Moral lessons can be learned in guidance based on the sharing from other people. But in counseling, we are saying that it's less didactic because information is given, but that is not the hallmark or the ultimate aim of counseling. It's meant to listen to what the client has and to be able to apply it in theoretical orientation, where you are going to see skills and techniques which are going to be employed to help the client resolve his or her concerns. Remember, we are live on Radio Windy Bay, and we are living with the fact that we cannot teach everything in the lecture hall. So there's a need for this provision to be made for us to be able to interact on air also. So on Facebook, we are live, and we are also encouraging our learners to log in and listen. Whilst you listen, also jot down your concerns. At the right time, the phone lines will be activated and you'll be given the opportunity to either call, send your text message or WhatsApp messages, and we are going to address all of them before we leave the studio. So level 300 students, I am encouraging you to all listen attentively. I know mathematics department, you are doing this semester accounting, BBA accounting, accounting education, risk insurance, and then I know history, you are also doing it, rehab and SPED, physics, biology, chemistry, integrated science, and art education. You are all doing this semester. So I will encourage all of you to listen and then jot down your concern. At the right time, we will attend to you whilst we address all your concerns. So let's continue to look at some misconceptions and barriers to this particular issue of counseling. The misconceptions and barriers are enormous. First of all, people have the conception that counseling is only for major issues or senseless people. So once I don't have any major issue, I will not go for counseling. Once I'm very knowledgeable and I'm not senseless, I will not go for counseling. That is not the issue. It is a misconception because you can go for counseling to prevent issues from happening. It doesn't mean that you will have an issue before you avail yourself for counseling. And it's not meant for people who are not endowed. Everybody needs counseling, even including the dead. So if I say it in class, my students laugh at me. The dead need counseling more, and if they need it more, we will need it much more. If you ask yourself why the dead need counseling, for instance, in our societies where we find ourselves, when a dead person is going to be buried, before they prepare the corpse and put you in your coffin and put you in your grave, they put some substances, items that we don't ask ourselves why that. First of all, some societies will put torchlight into your coffin. They will add money, add sandals or slippers, and add clothing, add catalysis. What are these particular things meant for? They signify something because we are helping you to embark on a journey. And the money means that when you are going and you are thirsty, use the money to buy water and continue your journey. The light means that when you are going and not forced, switch on the light and continue your journey. Now, the slippers means that as you are going, the weather may change and the weather may be very warm. Wear the slippers and continue. And at times, the catalyst is a symbol of defense. If somebody has killed you intentionally as you go, do not sleep, revenge. So it means that if we are guiding the dead to be able to reach their destination safely, then myself and you who are living, we will need counseling much more. So it is not something that is meant for those who are senseless, and it is not something that will be based on the fact that I have a major issue, so for that matter, I should go for counseling. Once I don't have, I will not go. These are misconceptions. The next thing is that I want to admit the fact that you need to go for counseling means that you are weak. This is what people say. Once you go for counseling, it simply means that you are weak. It is not true that you are weak. You are only trying to know what you don't know, to discover yourself more and to understand yourself better. That is why you go for counseling. Another misconception is that the counselor does not know me, and how will he help me? And my question to my students is this: you are sick and you go to hospital. The doctor and the health personnel who attend to you, do they know who you are? They don't know you. How come they're able to help you and you get well? So the same way, the counselor doesn't need to know you before he or she can assist you. For the fact that you need help and somebody is willing to help you, the person might not know you, but the person can help you. In the same way, it's a misconception to think that once the counselor does not know me, the counselor cannot help me. They can help you even without knowing you. Some also have a misconception that counseling will make my situation even worse. Counseling can never make the situation worse. It will make it better, because if you avail yourself of counsel, at the end of it all, you will testify that it is helpful to understand how things happen in life. But it will be worse if you don't go for it. So when you go for it, be sure that counseling is going to make your situation even more better, and you become more free to think about what to do to help yourself to grow. Some also perceive counseling to be that it is going to take a long time and cost a lot. It will not take a long time. No matter how the session will be, there will be one day the issues are going to be resolved, and there's going to be termination where the counselor will leave you to now go and then use the skills, use the potentials and abilities that you have been equipped with to be able to live on your own. So counseling has termination, and termination means that you are going to now live on your own based on what you have learned and based on what you have discovered about yourself. And some also say it's very costly. Counseling is not costly. In a school situation, our counseling is free. We don't charge you once you come for counseling. And students who have come can testify the fact that when you come for counseling, nobody say pay this amount of money before you are offered a service. We do it because you are our resource and we value you so much. That is why we do it free of charge. But people still have the conviction that it costs a lot, for that matter, they will not come. Today, if you think counseling was a fee paying, today I am telling you that it's not fee paying. Once you have an issue, simply walk to the counseling center and a counselor will be appointed to attend to your needs. Another misconception is that people say counseling is only for couples, and once I am not married and I don't have a problem with my relationship, then there's no need for me to go for counseling. Counseling is not only for couples, and it's not only meant for people who are in a relationship. It is something that is even individual. Once you have your life as an individual person, controlling your own life. That is why you should even seek counseling to make your life more better than you have seen. And people also perceive counseling to be a service that can be rendered by anybody at all. So they say counseling can be offered by anybody. It is never true. It is a professional relationship, and once you are not a professional, instead of you do counseling, you may see yourself doing what? Advice. You may be advising people. That is not what we do in counseling. We don't advise in counseling. We really expose you to the realities of what you are confronted with, and will give you the optimum choice to be able to decide on what you want to pick as your choice. So we don't advise in counseling where you think that it's an about advice giving and anybody at all can advise me, anybody at all can become a counselor. It is never true that way. People also perceive that all counselors are the same. Once I went to counselor A and he disclosed my issues to the third party, when I went to counselor C, similar thing will happen. It is not true. We have individuals and we are all giving unique abilities and capabilities. Don't think that what A did to you, B will do the same thing to you. We are unique, and that's why we all have our individual names. So if counselor A could not help you solve your problem, doesn't mean that counselor C will not also help you. Some will be able to help you solve your problem. So all counselors are never and can never be the same. Now, people also perceive counseling to be that when I go for counseling, it is part of my academic record. No, counseling is not part of your academic record. Nobody is going to indicate that you have come for counseling in your academic record. It is something that is confidential. So every counselor has a file, and the file is lock and key in a cabinet. You don't have access to it unless the counselor who knows what is in that car. So you don't have to think that people are going to put your records in your academic information that you have ever availed yourself for counseling. That is not true also. People also say counseling takes place forever. It doesn't take forever. It will be a time that will terminate. When we terminate, that is the end of it. We don't call you to come for it again. It depends upon your situation. Counseling can take 2-3 weeks and you are done. It can also take 1 month and you are done. It can take 1 year and you are done. Your situation will determine how long you should stay in the session. So by all means, it will not take place forever. People also see counseling to be that it's about advice giving. So once you want to advise me, I will not come. We don't advise, as I said earlier. So feel free and avail yourself for counseling, and you will see that there are so many things that you didn't know about your own self. People also say that if the advice is wrong, then who is responsible? That is why we don't do advising in counseling. If counseling is about advice giving, then the advice can be wrong. And the advice is wrong, then you have the chance to go and maybe confront the person who advised you wrongly. So for instance, if an experienced person should advise you to do something and the advice tends to be wrong, you have the right to go and then ask the person why he or she advised you wrongly. That is why counseling is not advice giving. So you are given the free will to choose, and when you choose, you are responsible for your choice. So when you choose and the choice is not the best one, you don't blame the counselor, you blame yourself, because you have weighed the pros and cons and you finally decided on what you want to choose. So it shouldn't be that the counselor is forcing his or decisions on me. You are given the opportunity to go and assess yourself and then make the right choice. We don't also advise in counseling because the advice can be something that the counselor may have feelings of importance or superior as compared to the client who will be seen to be inferior. If you are advising, the one who is advising is seen to be knowing and knowledgeable and more experienced or having expertise in that area. So if the counseling relationships tend to be where the counselor advises the client, then the counselor is assuming superiority and the counselor is assuming inferiority. That is not the ultimate. In counseling, both the counselor and the client assume equality, and they don't see anyone to be more important or superior than the other. They are all important. That is where they see themselves to be unique, and they are all there to equate themselves and see that their relationship is something that is thriving on mutual respect, mutual understanding, and obedience. Another misconception about counseling is this: in terms of saying that it's advice giving, advice really help counseling to come to realization for a permanent change of behavior. Advice cannot let you change your behavior permanently. By all means, you will revert again to the old way of life. So because it is not advice giving, that is why it can result in permanent change of behavior or behavior modification. We are also saying that counseling cannot be advice giving because the advice may not address deeper aspects of your problem, because they may be hidden and they will have lasting effects on your life. So there's a need for lasting solution also. So advice cannot give you that lasting solution that you need to be able to deal deeper into issues that may be affecting you, which nobody can see. But counseling can reveal that some of these hidden issues and can offer you lasting solutions about your life. Now, we want to also say that the misconceptions continues unabated, where some people see counseling to be that it is not about interviewing people. People say counseling is about interview, but we are saying that counseling is not about interviewing clients. It is about eliciting responses from our clients and helping them to be able to provide more information about issues that confront them. Now, we are also saying that counseling is not exclusively a problem-solving activity, which will mean that though we solve problems in counseling, but the ultimate aim of counseling is not about only solving problems. We can go there to prevent problems from even happening. So we are also saying that another misconception is that counseling is not mainly giving information. We go to do more things than giving information. Information giving is part of counseling, but we don't only give information, but we go beyond giving information to delve deeper into issues that we need to help our clients resolve. We're also saying that counseling is not influence the client's values, beliefs, interests, and decisions. In counseling, we don't impose our ideas on you. We make you choose what you want to choose based on knowing who you are and understanding who you are. So that when you choose, you are responsible for your own choices. So our value systems and belief systems and interests and decisions as counselors, we are not having any rights. Ethically, it is wrong for us to lord our views and values over our client. We don't have to do that, and we don't do that also. We're also saying that counseling is not about rebuking or warning. We don't warn you, and we don't also insult you. We don't disgrace you, and we don't actually say, if you don't do this, I will not counsel you again. No. You give your client the free will to choose and to decide, and there is no warning, there is no rebuking in the counsel relationship. It is a relationship that is based on mutual respect, obedience, and understanding, and self-respect. Now, barriers to guidance and counseling. There are some specific barriers that we are confronted with in our practice, and this is something that we need to let the students be aware, so that at one point in time we are confronted with these challenges in our practice, and whether we like it or not, it's a human institution, and whatever we are given, Oliver Twist will ask for more. So these are the challenges we are having as a center. First of all, inadequate resources such as office spaces to provide guidance and counseling for our schools. Even if in the university here, we are not having offices as counselors, we are pairing offices. Some of us are 3 in an office, and we are expected to offer counseling. It doesn't matter where you are, you can offer counseling to your clients based on where they need it. So if we are 3, we make adjustments, and we try to see in which way that we can conceal what is being discussed between us and our client. So when you go down to our practice, don't think that because we are counselor, we are giving preferential treatment. No, the office space is still a constraint for all of us, and we are all managing. At times you see us working with students and we are talking, we are doing counseling. At times you see us in our cars with students, we are doing counseling. So we have to do improvisation to be able to cater for the diverse needs of our students based on where you find ourselves and the situations that surrounds where we are practicing. So we have this constraint that we are working with, but that is not deterring us from our professional mandate. We are still doing our best to make sure that we give the best to our students who are seen as the ultimate of our practice. The next one is that religious beliefs and attitudes of some of our clients is a major concern. People come to counseling and their religious beliefs and tenets and their attitudes actually do not actually match with the counseling principles. They still believe in their religious practice and they believe that some issues are not for counseling and they are supposed to be addressed in terms of religious practices. But you look at the issues and they cannot be addressed from that angle. So once the client is having this particular perception, the counselor is the one who decides. So the counselor must understand the person, and at the end of it all, that may not be the best way the counselor should have solved the problem. The next challenge we have is workload of counselors. All the counselors that we have, they are also lecturers. So whilst you are lecturing, you are also counseling. So you, at one point in time, you are lecturing, you get a call, you are supposed to attend to a client. So what do? I think the most important thing is that lecture must be suspended and you attend to the client, and later you have to reschedule the lecture. So this is an additional work. We are teaching as many as other lecturers, and some of us are teaching 24 credit hours a week. And when you add that one to your counseling work, nuggets for life, we are there. So every aspect of our life is being monitored. We don't have the free will to decide that today I am tired, I will not come for counsel, I will not come for lecture. We are doing everything because we know that our students are our most important people who want to see their well-being and their mental health to be good. So the workload on us is very much weightier than us, and we are managing and trying to navigate the challenges and still offer the best services to our students. The next challenge we have is lack of formal training or sensitization for guidance and counseling teachers in our Ghanaian schools. Some of our schools in the elementary, junior high school and senior high school, teachers are always appointed to be guidance and counseling coordinators. They are not having any formal certification. They have not been trained also. The question is, what sort of coordinating work are they doing? So they end up doing what they want to do as teachers, but that may not be conforming to our professional practice and our code of what? Ethics. So some of this training that they are not having is really impacting them negatively, and it's not helping them to be able to discharge their duties as expected of them. So we want to say that this has brought us to the end of our discussion for today. And looking at the time, I want to give a brief summary of what we have been doing for now, so that the phone lines will be activated and you'll be given opportunity to also contribute to the discussion that we have this evening. We started by first looking at the two concepts, guidance and counseling, where we established that guidance is the process of helping an individual to understand himself, herself, and the world. And we said counseling was, we also look at some elements of guidance. First of all, we saw process, that it was a continuous event or series of actions of activities that were not only done once, but it was continuous in nature. We also saw guidance to be a helping profession or a helping relationship, which was meant to assist our learners or our students to be able to understand themselves and make decisions about life. We also saw that individual was seen to be something important we mentioned, and the individual here referred to the learner, the client, the clientele, or counselee in the given context of the educational system. We also saw another element where we said self-understanding or understanding self. Guidance brings the information to the individual that you are a unique individual and you need to be aware of who you are in terms of perceiving your strengths, weaknesses, as well as your prospects and opportunities and facilities around you, which you can make good use of for your personal growth and development. We talk about world. The world here refers to the opportunities available for you, the resources, and the immediate environment. And we establish the fact that in our society, in our school system, people are placed at vantage points to help us navigate our challenges and begin to see the university to be helpful. Administrators are there, lecturers are there, all senior colleagues are there, and they all have prominent role they are playing. Radio Windy Bay is providing us with excellent services where we can reach out to the university community and even Winneba Town and beyond. So when we have information, we come here and they are ready to assist us. SRO is working on student records. Academic Affairs is ready to work with your transcript and give you the information you need. So all the structures that you have, people who are there, they are playing their role to make the university work the way we are saying it. So everybody is seen to be unique and they all form part of our immediate environment. The same way as a student, your course mates, your dormitory mates, your hall mates, and people that you have in the study group, they all form part of your immediate environment. Faculty members are also your immediate environment. They all have a role to play in your life to make sure that you achieve whatever purpose you are here as a student. Now I want to look at counseling. We are saying that counseling is a process in which a counselor assists the counselee to make interpretations of facts relating to a choice or adjustment. At every point in time, we are confronted with decisions about making a choice. The counselor is the one who assists us to be able to make that choice based on looking at who we are and what we think will be best for us. There are some key issues that also emerge in the definition of counseling. First of all, we're talking about the fact that it's a professional relationship offered by a trained, competent, and knowledgeable individual. It is a relationship or interaction between a client in need and a counselor who is ready to offer that assistance. We also said counseling is concerned with choice or decision making. Then we said counseling borders on confidentiality and it is borders on solving problems also. It is concerned with behavior modification or behavior change. They also said counseling service is the heart of the work of what? Guidance. So it is seen as a pivot or the engine around which all the other guidance services revolve. Then we look at purpose of guidance and counseling. And we said the ultimate purpose of guidance and counseling is to help the individual discover their educational, vocational, psychological potentials and help them to be able to become an optimal individuals who are performing to their best maximum and to become people who are personally happy and useful to the society where they find themselves. There are some objectives outlined for our concept guidance and want to look at them briefly. First of all, we say it was meant to help our learners become self-directing individuals. 2, to provide learners opportunity for growth. Then 3, to prepare learners to make decisions or face new challenges in life. Then 4, to motivate the youth towards embracing challenges of their complex environment. Then to create awareness of oneself. Another objective is that guidance will help us to be able to make a realization of placing one's personality before making prudent choices. Consider yourself before you make a choice. That is making your personality first before you now decide on the choice you want to make. Guidance also has an objective that aims to help our learners to move towards becoming a better and satisfying individual. Now, building in the youth the confidence to assume responsibility or leadership roles. Another one is that guidance helps one to critically analyze information that is given to you and the options available before you choose based on your aptitude. Now we look at similarity between the two concepts where we establish the fact that both guidance and counseling are processes and they are continuous in nature. Then we also said counseling and guidance, they are services aimed at helping people, and people can be anybody at all, whether they are learners, they are senior members, they are administrators or senior staff, any of them or even outside of society. Guidance and counseling is geared towards helping anybody at all in need of the help. We're also saying that both guidance and counseling require people who are knowledgeable, people who are experienced. For instance, counselors, teachers, reverend ministers, or guidance and counseling coordinators. These are all people who are knowledgeable in their respective areas of practice. Then clients are free to make their own decisions or choice in terms of guidance and counseling. Now, we also say that the two concepts are having goals that are supposed to be achieved at the end of their practice. then they all aim at growth and development. They want to see the independent person to be deciding and becoming self-reliant to attain maximum best in whatever decision that they are confronted with. Then both concepts are operating on the fact that decision making is important, and then they are seeing the individual to be at the center of whatever service that is being offered. The two concepts also operate on qualified personnel. There are personal qualities that the individual who is offering guidance and counseling need to possess. It's not anybody at all who can offer these services that people require. We are also saying that both guidance and counseling are geared towards positive change in the individual. Then both endorse clients' own choice and satisfaction. Then both employ non-compulsion on clients. It is free for the two. Now we are also saying that they both take place over a period of time. None of them will take place at a single point in time, but it involves some kind of period that it can actually achieve the desired results. Now I want to quickly look at the differences, and that will bring us to the end of our discussion for this evening, and the phone lines will be activated. Remember, we are live on Radio Windy Bay, and we are saying that at the right time the phone lines will be activated, and you will be given the opportunity to either make a call, to phone in, or to send a WhatsApp message or SMS, and all these ones are going to be attended to. We are live on Windy Bay, and we're also live on Facebook. EDC 351, Introduction to Guidance and Counseling, meant for level 300 students. We are encouraging you that it is another opportunity for us to learn and quickly revise and update our knowledge, because it is very helpful in helping us to be able to master the concepts very well as we prepare for our impending examinations. Now we are looking at the differences, and we are talking guidance first. First of all, guidance is seen to be more cognitive in terms of the domain under which it operates. We're talking about it to be something that is related to facts, principles, and methods. Then counseling is seen to be in the affective domain, which deal with feelings of the individual. Now we are saying that guidance is less personal and less intimate, while counseling is more personal and more intimate. We also say guidance is more structured, but counseling is less structured. We are saying also that guidance is less open-ended, while counseling is more open-ended. Guidance is public, while counseling is private and confidential. Guidance is more didactic and informative, while counseling is less didactic. Now, the last one we look at was misconceptions of counseling, and we are saying that people have the misconception that counseling is only for major issues or senseless people. People also misconstrue guidance to be admitting that you need help, and go for counseling means you are weak, which is not true. People also perceive counseling to be counseling does not help or make issues better, but they make it worse. The counselor does not know me, so they cannot help me. That is also a misconception. Counseling takes place over a long period of time, and it takes a lot of money also, and we are saying that that is not true enough. People also perceive counseling to be meant for only couples, and once I don't have any relationship any issue in my relationship or any problem with my partner, there's no need for me to seek counseling. Some also view counseling as anybody can offer counseling, or anybody at all can be a counselor, and it's not true. Some also perceive counseling to be that all the counselors are the same. Some also misconceive it to be that counseling will become part of my academic record, and someday counseling will take place forever. Counseling is not advice given based on the following justifications. 1. Reasons why counseling should not be seen to be advice given. One is that the advice given may be wrong. 1. If the advice turns out to be wrong, the counselor is held responsible. Advice given may make the counselor have the feeling of self-importance, whereas there should be, as much as possible, equality in the counseling relationship. Another one is that advice rarely helps counselor to come to a realization for a permanent change of behavior. Advice does not address deeper aspects of problems, for hidden information, for lasting solutions to occur. Then there are some misconceptions also in terms of why guidance counseling cannot be seen to be advice giving. Counseling is not interviewing clients. Counseling is not also exclusively a problem solving activity. Counseling is not mainly giving information, though information may be given in counseling. We're also saying that counseling is not influencing the client's values, beliefs, interests, and decisions. Counseling is not rebuking or warning your clients. There are some barriers that we are confronted with as counselors, even here and then, looking at our schools, elementary schools like junior high school, our basic schools, and then senior high school. They are also having some unique challenges as compared to with those who are here. One of them is inadequate resources such as office space to provide guidance and counseling services needed by our students. The next one is that religious beliefs and values are also affecting our practice as practitioners. The next one is that workload on counselors is becoming a major issue of concern, where we are not able to get enough time because of the dual role that we are having. The next one is lack of training, formal training for people who are deployed to the basic level to become counselors. They don't have the certification. They are not having the formal training. So the question is, what sort of guidance are they providing there? So that is a major concern. And we want to end here, and the phone lines will be activated for you to also contribute to the discussion. And I want to thank you very much for sacrificing your time to listen to this insightful discussion that we have gotten on Radio Windy Bay, who have made it possible despite the challenges. They have been able to put their house together, and we have been given the opportunity to learn, and that was something that we need to commend them for that. Now we are on EDC 351, Introduction to Guidance and Counseling, meant for level 300 students, and we thank all our participants for listening to us. Thank you very much.
From the start, we will shape that future, making you that teacher. So if you dream big, all of the courses we run it. LKU, you got it. We own it and we're proud of it. So in our heart, is your name. What me the name? Do it up, what me the name, boy? Do it up, what me the name? Do it up, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We here, what me the name? Do it up, what me the name, boy? Do it up, what me the name? Do it up, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We here, it's still what I mean. Iconic initiate. Shine your eyes, come on, let's unite. From the north to the south and central, we are one. Oh, let's decide to pay that price. Yes, we aim, providing higher education. No, just one name, which belongs to me, that belongs to you. So let's join our hands and say to the world, what be the name? Do it up, you. What be the name, boy? Do it up, you. What be the name? Do it up, you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We hear you. You should be proud. Raise your voice, be loud. Oh. It's the best institution where teachers are trained. Oh. We will shape that future, making you that teacher. So if you dream big, all of the department, the faculty, Spartans, Stallions, Trojans, but still unity. All of the affiliate of Simba, Uni, got the
This is why I love
you.
Wrap up, and that will bring us to the end of our session for this evening. Today we are privileged to discuss EDC 351, Introduction to Guidance and Counseling in Education, that is for level 300 students. And today the concept for discussion is we want to look at the concept of guidance and counseling, which involves definitional issues, similarities and differences between the two concepts. And we establish the fact that guidance is a process of helping an individual to understand himself or herself and the world. And counseling is a professional relationship between a client and or a counselee or clientele. Then a counselor who is ready to assist the counselee to make interpretations regarding facts or choice or adjustment about life. Then we said in terms of the purpose is to help our individual learners to discover their educational, vocational, and psychological potentials, which will make them to become optimal level functioning individuals who will be happy and contribute to. Hello, your name and your department.
Please, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Your name and your department.
I am Alex Nimoti from Faculty of Science, Biology Department, level 300.
Biology, okay, Alex.
Okay, so matters relating to communities which require people's ideas. So, whereby you can be a counselor to the group of people when they are not in support or have an interest in your cancellation. Can you put in an effort by pursuing them to admit and follow your cancellation, since these ideas may be of benefit to the people on board?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex, for the question. If I understood your question very well, in a society where people have issues and you are trying to give them your contribution and they are not listening, can you pursue them to understand your issue because it might be beneficial to them? If I understood your question, counseling and guidance is not about forcing the people. They need more enlightenment. So it's not about forcing them, it's about giving them what you call psychoeducation. Psychoeducation means that you expose them to the realities of what you have for them, and when they understand you, that is where they will buy into whatever suggestion you have. So it's a matter of constantly talking to them and engaging those who matter, so that when they understand, they will broadcast the information to others and they will understand and then buy into it. But you don't force your ideas on them, but keep talking, keep giving them information. That's what we call psychoeducation. So once you are able to convince those who matter, the stakeholders, then when they buy into the idea, they can now begin to convince others to be able to see the need for them to buy into whatever you have for them. So it is about a process. It's not a one-day event where you think that they should understand the way you understand it. It's a matter of constantly giving them psychoeducation, and it will come to a time that you will understand that the issue that you have for them is very good and they will buy into it. Thank you very much. Yeah, with the objectives of guidance, we are simply saying that we want to assist our learners to become self-directed individuals, and also to provide the opportunity for them to grow to their maximum level, then to prepare them to take decisions regarding new challenges that may come on their way, then motivate them to embrace the challenges of this complex society we find ourselves, then to create opportunity for them to know themselves and discover who they are better. Now, we also look at similarities between the two concepts, where we said in terms of guidance and counseling, they are all seen to be processes. That means they are continuous in nature. Then we also look at it from the fact that they are all helping services aimed at helping people. They both require knowledgeable experience and then people who are intelligent to be able to give out the services. Then counselors are free in the two concepts to make their own decisions or choice. Then we say the two concepts are all goal-oriented, which means they have goals to be achieved, and they aim at what maximum growth and development of individual, and they aim at producing an individual who is an independent thinker, self-reliant, and able to attain the maximum best. With the two concepts, decision making is seen to be very paramount, and the individual here is not forced, but you are supposed to make your own decision, and you are the center of the decision making. And we are also saying that they all make use of qualified personnel. In terms of the differences, we established that guidance was more cognitive, and whilst counseling was more affective. They also say guidance is less personal and less intimate, while counseling is more personal and more intimate. We also say guidance was more structured, while counseling was less structured. Then we also agree that in terms of guidance, it's less open, but counseling was more open. Then we said guidance is more public, while counseling is less private and confidential, more private and confidential. Then we say in guidance, it is more didactic and informative, but counseling is less didactic. Then we look at misconceptions, where we said the misconception that counseling is meant for people who are having major issues or senseless people is not true. Then people say all counselors are the same. It's a misconception. Some also say counseling will make my situation worse. Some will say counselor does not know me, how can he help me? All these ones are misconceptions. And people also have the view that all counselors are the same. All these ones are misconceptions. Now the barriers that we listed are these: inadequate resources such as office space for people to be able to provide the needed guidance and counseling that is required. Then religious beliefs and attitudes of some of our clients is also a hindrance. Then the workload of counselors is another major concern that we talk about. Then lack of formal training or sensitization for guidance and counseling teachers in our basic schools and elementary schools, that is a serious concern. And this brought us to the end of our discussion for today. The phone lines are activated, and the lines are 050-392-3158. 050-392-3158. You can use this number for WhatsApp, SMS, and also call, and we'll listen to you and address your concerns.
See your name, it's in our hearts, so we're ready